Hi everyone, there will be a quiz at the end of this lesson to test your knowledge on everything that we have learnt so far, so make sure to take notes and pause the video if you need to. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to Lesson 6 of your music production course with me, Katie Russell, and with Planet Drum. In the previous lesson, we started our listening section, more specifically looking at identifying instruments, note lengths and note pitch. In today's lesson, we are going to be finishing off our listening section by looking at stylistic awareness, chords, drum beats and bass lines. We are going to start by looking at pop music, and you can find this on page 28 of your music production book. Defining genre in music is a difficult task because some artists and bands take inspiration from different styles, creating music that fits into a whole range of different genres. Some examples of different music styles that you've heard before can be rock, pop, jazz, classical, reggae, folk, and there's many, many more. We can broadly define pop music or popular music as music made for mass commercial appeal. Let's have a look at some common traits of pop music. Pop music tends to have a song length of around 3 minutes. This is ideal for radio play. Pop music largely has a similar structure comprising of verses, pre-choruses, choruses, middle eights, so you can often predict what will come next in the song. Pop music often has vocal melodies and musical hooks that makes the song really memorable. Pop music balances its relatively unsophisticated musicianship with cutting-edge and high-end music production. Pop music has always borrowed from the underground music, and each decade can be characterised. For example, synth pop in the 1980s, dance music in the 1990s, hip hop music in the 2000s, electronica and R&B in the 2010s. Let's have a look at pop chords. Pop music consists of fairly simple chord progressions, unlike jazz music, for example, often with the same chord progression appearing in hundreds of songs. Here is a common chord progression in the key of C major, C, G, A minor, and F. C major is made up of the notes C, E, and G. G major is made up of the notes G, B, and D. A minor is made up of the notes A, C, and E. F major is made up of the notes F, A, and C. Let's have a listen to it all together. Here is a chord progression in the key of D major, E minor, C, G, and D. E minor has the notes E, G, and B. C major, G major, and then the chord D major, which is made up of notes D, F sharp, and A. Let's have a listen to this together. Now let's move on and have a look at pop bass lines. In pop music, the bass functions as part of the rhythm section, often playing at the same time as the bass drum. The bass guitar typically plays the root note of the chord progression. In the chord progression C, G, A minor, and F, the bass notes would be C, G, A, and F. Let's have a look at pop vocals. Pop music tends to have vocals at the forefront of the song. As well as this, the backing vocals, also known as BVs, are crucial to add texture and to add depth as well. Backing vocals can provide a call and response to the main vocal. Let's have a listen. This sun's They can also harmonise, sing higher or lower in pitch to the main vocal melody. Let's have a listen. Now let's have a look at drums in pop music, and you can find this on page 29 of your music production book. As pop music is designed to appeal to large numbers of people, the drums are typically in a 4/4 beat to make the song more danceable. This usually means placing a bass drum emphasis on the downbeat, with the snare drum on beats 2 and 4. You can fill this out with subbeats like shakers and tambourines or hi-hats. A lot of pop drums are now played on electronic drum kits or programmed using the drum machine in your DAW. Here is an example of some pop drums. Great, we're now going to move on to have a look at rock music, and you can find this on page 30 of your music production book. Rock music evolved out of rock and roll in the 1950s. In the 1960s, musicians moved away from rock and roll's formula, adding new sounds, song structures, and musical ideas. Rock music has often been used as a vehicle for political movements, from Woodstock to the Vietnam War and to Live Aid. The electric guitar is rock's dominant instrument, and the guitar riff still remains the genre's signature. Let's have a look at some rock chords. Rock music also consists of some fairly simple chord progressions. Bands such as Radiohead and Frank Zappa could be considered exceptions of this though. A common rock chord progression is C, made up of notes C, E and G. G, made up of notes G, B and D. A minor, made up of notes A, C and E. F, made up of notes F, A and C. Let's have a listen to this all together. Another chord progression is E, made up of the notes E, G sharp and B. A, made up of the notes A, C sharp and E. E again, and then D, made up of the notes D, F and A. And then E again. Let's have a listen to what this sounds like. Moving on to rock bass lines. So the electric bass in a rock band typically does play the root note, similar to pop music, but it can also play riffs and solos. Let's have a listen. Let's have a look at some rock guitar riffs. Many rock songs are based around a riff, which is a repeated melodic phrase. Most of these are written in the keys E, D, and A. They are often played in unison with the bass guitar. Let's have a listen. It is possible to combine chord progressions and melodies by using power chords to create riffs. A power chord is a chord using only the first and the fifth notes of the chord. Great work today, guys. In the next lesson, we are going to revisit BandLab for Education, and we're going to start our coursework. We're going to start by importing our hip hop beat and our MIDI chords, and we're going to set the right BPM. I will see you in the next video. Well done, and thanks for watching lesson 6. Now it's time to test your knowledge and take the quiz on pop and rock music. Good luck!